Hi, in the previous video we discussed the phenomenon of foreign fighters in Syria. Who are these people and why did they go? And in this video we'll look into the groups that these people joined. Well, there are many different groups that together have a fighting force of maybe around 100,000. There are different estimates, somewhere between 75,000 and 115,000 rebels. So these people that fight against the regime of Assad. And of these fighters, about 12,000 are foreign fighters, probably more. So where did these foreign fighters go to? What groups did they join? Well, the three most noteworthy are the Free Syrian Army, Jabhat al-Nusra, and Islamic State, also known as Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, or Islamic State in Iraq and al-Sham. The Free Syrian Army. It was founded in 2011 by officers and soldiers that defected from the army of the regime of Assad. It has a secular outlook and it has a lot of international support. Some governments have said that Assad is not the representative of Syria anymore and said the opposition is the legitimate representative, and the Free Syrian Army, is its military wing. And it has support from a number of countries. Not all countries, not Russia, not China, but from a number of countries. And their goal is, like all the other opposition groups, to bring down the regime. And its members are mostly Sunni Arabs, but also it has a lot of other groups, a lot of other ethnic and a lot of other religious groups among its ranks. The problem is it has been badly organized and badly supplied. There's a lot of internal division, and therefore it's never been a very effective fighting force. And that's the reason why it lost a lot of support. Many defected to Islamist or jihadist groups like Jabhat al-Nusra and Islamic State. Jabhat al-Nusra, also known under the name the Support Front for the People of Sham, Sham being the name for Syria, so the Support Front for the People of Syria, and it was founded in 2012. It's linked to Al-Qaeda. It's recognized by Al-Qaeda Central, so Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, Pakistan, as a local affiliate of Al-Qaeda. And it's got an Al-Qaeda agenda. It's also fighting the Assad regime, but more on religious ideological grounds. And its goal is not only to topple the regime, but also to create an Islamic State in Syria and a caliphate in the Levant. The Levant meaning the region that now is comprised of the territories of Syria, partly Turkey, small part, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, and the Palestinian territories. It's been designated a terrorist organization by a number of countries, among them the United States, but more importantly, it's on the UN list of terrorist organizations. Its tactics and modus operandi include suicide bombing, and it has clashed in the past with many other groups, including the Free Syrian Army and Islamic State. Among its ranks are many Syrians, but it also attracted a large number of foreign fighters, including foreign fighters from Europe. Hundreds of them went to Jabhat al-Nusra, but also recently hundreds defected to other groups, mainly Islamic State, including the foreign fighters. Islamic State, also known as Islamic State in Iraq and al-Sham, al-Sham being the name for Syria. So it's Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, currently under the name Islamic State. Okay, what is Islamic State? That's a difficult question to answer. It's an insurgent group, it's a rebel group, it's a terrorist group, it's on the UN list of designated terrorist organizations, but it's much more. In many ways it is also a state, controlling large swaths of territory in Syria and Iraq, which they conquered in the summer of 2014. It runs bakeries, schools, hospitals, organizes public facilities. So it's got many different faces. It is composed of foreign fighters, many of them joined Islamic State, but also local Iraqi, sometimes Syrian tribes, rebels that resist the central government either in Damascus or in Baghdad. So it's a network of organizations with sometimes different agendas, all under the same name, Islamic State. And if we add to that, for instance, their outreach through propaganda, which is very professional, you could even say it's got supporters globally, from Australia to the Netherlands and from Morocco to Chechnya. And in that sense, it's almost also a social movement. So it's got many different features, many different ways you could define it. Makes it very difficult to actually say what is IS. But this confusion is perhaps part of it. IS, very difficult to describe. Much clearer is to describe its leader. It's Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who managed to merge several groups into this militant group, and he tried to merge this group even with Jabhat al-Nusra, which we discussed earlier, in 2013. But that was rejected by Jabhat al-Nusra, but also by Al-Qaeda itself. So the Al-Qaeda leadership, al-Zawahiri, rejected IS as an Al-Qaeda affiliate. Its goal is to establish an Islamic Caliphate, which it did in June 2014. And its goal is not only fighting the Assad regime, but also that in Baghdad, and also fighting other opposition forces. And the opponents are almost everybody who disagrees with them. Well, after conquering many of the territories that are under IS control, now we've seen lots of atrocities, lots of killings, beheadings of local groups, of American journalists, aid workers, many different people. So it's well known for its brutality. It's at the same time a very effective fighting force, fighting Kurds, other groups, and conquering more lands. So it's a huge challenge. It's, for instance, a challenge to Al-Qaeda, who is the #1 Islamist jihadist movement or organization in the world. Many would say it's not Al-Qaeda anymore, it's IS. And of course it's an enormous challenge to the countries in the region, to neighboring countries and to countries that support these countries like the United States. And these countries, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, United Arab Emirates, etc., together with the United States, European countries, Australia, have formed a coalition that is actually now fighting IS from the air since September 2014. What are these people doing out there? Those who joined Jabhat al-Nusra, Islamic State, or Free Syrian Army, and many other groups. Well, here's a list of relevant activities. One is being bored and waiting. Warfare is not 24/7 at the front, so many are bored and waiting for what's happening. Many have been involved in training, sometimes basic training, sometimes more sophisticated training, and they're involved in guard duties and help behind the front lines. And of course there's the fighting. Fighting with sniper rifles, all kinds of weapons, heavy weapons, Kalashnikovs, anti-tank rockets, etc., etc. And unfortunately there's also many that are involved in war crimes. And some even go as far as to be part of suicide attacks. Well, that's the warfare part. Propaganda is also very important. Many of them are very active on social media, trying to recruit others or to make sure that people donate money for the fighting. So propaganda is an important element as well. And of course back home, when they are questioned by the authorities, they say, I went there to provide humanitarian assistance. And it should be stressed that some do, but many do so next to the fighting. To sum up, we looked at 3 groups that have attracted many foreign fighters from Europe and other places. The Free Syrian Army, Jabhat al-Nusra, and Islamic State. And we have seen that they have different agendas and some are more radicals than others. We've seen that many foreign fighters went from one organization to the other and ended up in the more radical ones, Jabhat al-Nusra and especially Islamic State. And these more radical or extremist organizations have a wider agenda, not only to topple the regime, but also go for have other goals as well, to establish an Islamic State or even a caliphate in the region or beyond the region. In the next video we will look at foreign fighters as a threat. Are they a threat? Yes or no? And to whom?